This is a Ghost Politics, Bathrobe Dwayne, and BT Oddcast production. A minor disagreement over Kurt Cobain was shaken up when it was brought to my attention by a friend that Hypocrite, is a groomer. Ultimately, I just wanted him to answer my question, but he was being weird and twerpy. Naturally, I did what any reasonable person would do and made a whole bunch of burner Twitter accounts and started spamming this picture in his replies, being sure to clarify that I still wanted him to answer my question. Unfortunately, more drastic measures needed to be taken as he remained vapid and twerpy, like a housewife who refuses to admit that she fucked something up even though it's blatantly obvious she did. Brute force is your friend. This is what happened next.
Get this together. It is the call-in show. I don't have that many. I do have a few things to look at if nobody calls in, but I had to, like I said, I had to throw this one together quickly. How are you guys doing? Man, my Kurt Cobain video I reposted and it got like way better traction. Last time when I first posted that video, I think it got like maybe 8,000 views or 12,000 max or something like that. And so I changed the title to Kurt Cobain Sucks. And now it's got like 50,000 views or something. And there's all these like libtards who comment on it and they're like...
To clarify my point on his Kurt video, it was shit. I'm not saying that as a Nirvana fan, since my taste is a little more... But it was basically just a long list of anything progressive Kurt did or said during his life. And, well, jack shit besides that. I get the point he was trying to make. But the delivery was so bad that it just made Hypocrite come across as a coward who wouldn't dare state his true feelings out of fear of losing monetization. What a shit dick. That's the gist of how this shit started. But of course, he won't mention how our conversation ended. I made fun of his balding ass and called him a pedo.
All you did was show that he has progressive viewpoints. You never explained like what's bad about that. And I just thinking like, bro, welcome to the high IQ side of the internet where you don't need people to explain to you why promoting homosexuality and abortion are not good things, actually.
On the scale of degenerate behavior, Hypocrite has been accused of, and then admitted, to grooming a child. And he admitted it after claiming to be a epic superior troll, even though I managed to get him to admit to a serious crime for the low price of $5.
My one mistake in life. That never would have happened if I had been based in Christian.
In the grand scheme of things, a man in his mid-40s attempting to solicit minors is one of the worst things a human can do, besides actually successfully soliciting a minor. But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
We've all been there, my friend.
No.
Well, maybe not all of us.
The irony here is that Kurt admitted to doing some fucked up shit too, like trying to sleep with a mentally disabled girl because he wanted to lose his virginity before killing himself. But would it surprise you that Hypocrite didn't even bring this up? Well, of course not. This leaves two possibilities. Either Hypocrite didn't know this, despite being probably one of Kurt's most fucked up actions and, making a video called Kurt Cobain Sucks. Or he doesn't view it as a problem. Considering what we'll learn later, both are equally likely.
My one mistake in life.
What an absolute shit dick. But this isn't about Kurt, it's about
my one mistake in life.
So we'll move on swiftly from the tard shit to something that matters.
He comes in and he's like, I looked into this Hypocrite guy. He's a pedophile.
This is true. Attempting to groom a minor is typically considered one of the behavioral traits required to label someone a pedophile. And it just so happens that he admits to doing this later in the video.
My one mistake in life.
So, in short, you can describe the first part of the video as deeply ironic, considering what occurs in the later half of the stream. Of course, it was easy for him to say this. He had no way of knowing my $5 would ultimately be enough to get him spilling beans like a Mexican chef on the Costa Concordia. But let's skip past the autistic nonsense of the first 30 minutes or so and get to my first truth injection. The red pill is real and it costs only $1 a pop.
So I read all
is it,
those up.
Hold on. Is it by Nightmare Vision, the Twitter user?
No. He's the one. He like made it popular with that.
Okay.
So I like it's all on YouTube. So I just like sat down and listened to it. So
I knew this. Hold on. The dude just sent in a $1 power chat. I already mentioned you, bro, on the show. Why don't you just call in, you weirdo?
Last time I checked, being called weirdo is far below pedophile on the scale of offensive labels. But there's something strange to me about a man who openly admits to his attempts to solicit minors acting superior to Vaush. Both are fucked up. But at the same time, I haven't seen a picture of Vaush with best goy written on his forehead that originates from an active attempt to solicit a minor. I'd say don't throw stones in glass houses. But even if he took this to heart, I doubt it would stop him from admitting to a lot more than just one incident. But it's also not surprising that he wanted me to call in, and if you'd allow me to hypothesize for a moment, you see, pedophiles tend to have an issue with control, especially when someone says the truth about what the vast majority of society thinks of their behavior. By calling in, I'd be doing so under his terms, where he's ultimately in control of the situation. He'd make the obvious jokes about my voice and accent in an attempt to maintain control, and likely hang up as soon as things get too spicy for him. This would be handing him control over the situation on a silver platter. However, as soon as you remove their sense of control, leave them exposed and forced to communicate on your terms, you prevent them from getting that headway. If you push hard enough, the wheels start to fall off, which of course happens.
My one mistake in life.
It's always easier to get someone to dig their own grave by just getting them talking, and considering that it only took $5 to achieve this result, I can only presume he's not used to encountering someone who enjoys being stubborn and defiant towards a pedophile streamer. But as the donos continue flowing in, he tries using an obvious tactic, just not responding to the actual messages, trying to ignore them while grimacing, like an uncomfortable nonce starting to realize that he's losing control of the situation.
He like applauded about these fucking. Oh, hold on. Is that a super chat?
Yeah, but it's just a $1, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. So like the plot in the
people that we have as part of our race, but we shouldn't have to deal with other people's crazy psychopaths in our home countries.
Absolutely, I totally agree with that.
You get a super chat. But yeah, and the great thing about like being a U.S. citizen or at least being like a green card holder is that you can leave and move whatever you want. So a lot of people worry about, yeah, they took out their job. Yeah, it sucks. They took out that one job, but you can apply for.
There's a reason why I embrace the phrase brute force is your friend. With a little persistence, you can achieve amazing things. Keep pushing forward, even when the nonce is playing the quiet game. Read his body language, watch his eyes, put yourself in his shoes. You can feel it coming. You can feel that he's about to break. He's about to come out of the disgusting, slimy nonce closet.
All right, thanks, PETA. Thanks, Best Goy. Maybe if you send a few more super chats, I'll tell you all about why I groomed the minors.
The crazy thing about this is he's not being sarcastic. Well, maybe the donate more part. I doubt he's that desperate for my shekels. But considering his later admissions, it's almost baffling how this retarded, ponderous, middle-aged heap of shit would try and be snarky when it comes to his active attempts to coerce underage girls into having sex with him. Now, there's one area that I haven't touched on, a significant one, something that deserves the focus for a moment. Hypocrite is Canadian, and therefore part of a long line of illustrious pedophiles throughout recent Canadian history, such as Michael Rafferty, Paul Bernardo, Carl Leone, Drake, probably Jim Carrey. So it's very much on brand. What would have been a smart marketing decision if he was trying to appeal to a local market? But perhaps the fact that he's broadcasting to an international audience is the Achilles heel. There's parts of the world where the people are normal and don't delude themselves into believing people will just ignore an admission of a serious crime against children. So attempting to sell yourself in this way will surely make people question your moral fortitude. A foolish mistake from a pedophilic waterhead.
Best Goy. Just keep sending in super chats. I'll think about it.
Dude, this best goy has been over your Twitter and other social media for years, it seems. At least as long as I've known your channel. I see this best goy guy. He basically posts that same picture of you from years ago. You probably don't want to bring that up, but anyway. That's what he's referencing.
No, I know it's not. It's more than one person.
Yeah.
It's every hater
Oh, is
who
it?
does like a Google search and they're like, "Oh, look, I found a thing from 8 years ago I can get him with." So it's literally the only thing these people have. My one mistake in life.
They say to understand a monster's behavior, you need to put yourself in their shoes, become the monster yourself, understand their instinct, the wrath, their pain. But when it comes to I, hypocrite, I'd prefer to not put myself in the mindset of a man who actually believed this was a good idea. I'm not a smart person, but willingly lowering myself to this level of mental deterioration would probably be a trip I wouldn't return from as a whole person. I feel that already. From this experience alone, something has been taken from me. Something unsettling me to my core. Maybe it's a newfound fear of the world itself. The understanding that there's thousands, tens of thousands, maybe millions of balding men with Harry Potter glasses who are lusting after the people closest to me. I have a sister, and I worry what she might face throughout her life. I worry what I might experience myself. I worry that I may encounter a person like this. A friend, a co-worker, someone I would have trusted, only for them to admit to me that they were tricked into sending an underage girl they were attempting to solicit a picture of their face with "Best Goy" scrawled on their forehead with a permanent marker. Maybe my fears are unfounded. Men like this will always exist, and fearing them perhaps gives them power. It gives them a sense of control, makes them feel bigger than they actually are, in stature, not girth. Or maybe this is a sign, a message from behind the human consciousness, a real, simple one. Anyone who admits to soliciting a minor without a hint of shame or remorse should be mocked mercilessly. Someone who likely used his fame and position of power in an attempt to influence children into sleeping with him. Only, I don't think a balding, middle-aged, alt-right YouTuber is getting many groupies. They're not rock stars, they're not the rich and famous, they're nobodies off the internet. Just anonymous faces in the crowd. Perhaps that's what makes them so dangerous? But regardless, they're forced to fulfill their dark fantasies online, seeking nothing more than the love of an underage girl, someone he can control, someone he has power over. An adult inherently holds power. For starters, they're far more capable of striking a fatal blow to the back of a pedophile's head with a hammer, but they're also smarter, wiser, harder to coerce, harder to control. They're the poison to a pedophile's desires, and if needs be, are more capable of protecting their bodies from a sick man's perversions with a hammer.
You'll never live it down, man.
Well, it is what it is. That never would have happened if I had been based in Christian to begin with. That's the kind of retard mistake that you can only make when you're a progressive coomer, hedonist fuckboy.
It's amazing. I have an awful obsession with watching videos of courtroom and parole hearings. So I'm used to seeing pedos claim that Jesus somehow cured them of their attraction to children, only for them to appear in the same room a few months later, having returned to their old ways as if the threat of imprisonment meant nothing to them. The truth is, he's attracted to children. You don't groom a child, a massive risk to your fundamental rights and freedom if caught, if you're not attracted to them. Adults are far more plentiful on the internet than children. But was he caught being a creep to a fat chick, or a disabled woman, or any other person he'd find unattractive? Well, no, he singled out and attempted to convince an underage girl to sleep with him. That very much implies he's attracted to children and has acted on those urges. How many years was it between him sending that picture and being outed? What was he doing during that time? What was he doing after he was outed? Has he actually changed his ways? It's his word alone, and I personally wouldn't trust someone who admits to not only being a pedophile, but actively trying to solicit a minor to be an honest person while under scrutiny of the public, or even just some random person who just wanted a question answered, even if that meant escalating things to Hiroshima proportions of autism.
So,
We've all been there, my friend.
no.
Well, maybe not all of us.
This is a man who lost control, to the point where even his own callers are mocking him over it. I guess the main takeaway from this is, be persistent, invest $5 in a little trolling, and you too can get an established alt-right YouTuber to admit that they've attempted to solicit minors for sex. I'm not the type of person to think this applies to their entire community, but the fact that people will continue to fawn over this man is proof that political discourse on the internet has devolved to the point where people will abandon their own moral sentiments, all to defend a person they've formed a parasocial relationship around. There's no reason his fans didn't press him on this. Beyond wanting to protect something that brings them comfort, the idea of separating themselves from someone they want close, even if that person has committed abhorrent acts against children, because it's often the only thing that keeps the loneliness from setting in. The human need to either belong or feel comfort is a powerful one, almost as powerful as Hypocrite's lust for little girls. What an absolute shit dick.
Hammer time.
Hammer time.
Hammer
Time. Hammer time.